Okay, hi, my name is Nicolas Cadieux. I'm with the Applied Remote Sensing Lab from McGill University. If you're like us and you are flying a professional series drone like the Matrix 300 series, then you are probably most likely using a GIS, GIS, in order to start planning your flights. You're most likely not using Google Earth because you have access to other data sets that you want to use, and Google Earth simply cannot import these data sets. Um, Now, if you're like us, you've probably noticed that the if you start create a whole bunch of shape files and you try to export them to DJI Pilot, you're going to have most likely have difficulties. If you've probably went to Google and like us, you found a little video from Grantastica, and this video kind of explains to you how you can take a fully functional KML, cut and paste the coordinates within a one that doesn't work to one that does work, and that will permit you to import these files into DJI Pilot. Now, if you have hundreds of files to work with, then you're likely going to find this very tedious. I made a video 2 years ago where I made a small script and I was importing shapefiles and exporting them to KMLs that could be readable by DJI Pilot. In this video, I also explain why it's a good idea to use a real geographic information system to create your flight plans. And I also explain how to use a little algorithm that I had made called Shape to DJI Pilot. Now, if you go to my GitLab page, I've just uploaded today a new software called GIS to DJI. So I've renamed it because I'm no longer just dealing with shapefiles. I can now import or export geopackages, shapefiles, MIF files, tab files, GeoJSON files, GMLs, KMLs, KMZs to uh, a simple KML format. So if you go to this page, you're going to be able to download the source code, and I also explain how you can do a standalone program. So if you do not want to install Python every time and to have a working Python distribution, you can also make one and then export your program so that it can be used in a standalone fashion. So this is the script that I've created, or the program that I've created. If you run this, you will end up with this little cute little graphic user interface. You can either select your files here. This will give you the possibility of importing individual files, but you can also import full directories. So in here, we're going to go to the to my test directory. So it found all of these following files, and it will take any line, any polygon, any point within all of these files and will export them to simple KMLs. If you have multiple objects within a file, it will create a single KML for every object that's created. And if you have multiple layers, it is also capable of looking at each of these layers and creating an export. So you find the output directory. It's important for these to be two different places because you can create thousands of files if you have thousands of input objects. And then once you've processed, now the first thing I have is an error here. which is wanted. And it tells you that, whoops, some of these files don't have a coordinate reference system. So it's important to have a coordinate reference system. It will still create the files, but if they are not, if originally they weren't created using WGS 84, which is EPSG 4326, if the files are not in this coordinate reference system, then they might end up in another part of the world. They will end up in another part of the world, or they won't be able. You won't be able to import them into DJI Pilot. So you have an error that will indicate. So here you have in the output, you have. So here you have the error for the file that had no coordinate reference system. If you keep on going in this file here, we found a number of layers. So it had a line, it had points, and you can see that there are invalid geometries that were found. So the software will try to fix these invalid geometries, but you always need to check to make sure that the resulting geometries that have been fixed are still logical. So it's going to you're going to have to be to start looking at your outputs. So it will create lines, points, polygons, but also what we call pseudo point. So if you try to create a mapping mission using something else than line or polygons, you're going to run into problems. So if you want to use points, you cannot import them in a mapping mission. It depends on the type of mission that you're creating. So a way around this is to create what we call a pseudo point, which is a line with zero length. And with this, you'll be able to add the objects in your mapping missions, and then so you could tell the drone to go to this specific point and to fly to a certain altitude. So you can have you can apply give information to and add these objects to your flight mission. Now these pseudo points, you can't see them in a GIS because they have zero length. They're basically zero length lines. So I do also create the point. In this case, it's I've created the points as KMZs because apparently KMZs are importable in some of the DJI software. We haven't been using any of these points. So you have for every import file, you've got every object that's found within this file will be exported. Now it's very important to always keep a backup of your data because these are simplified files. So if you have extra columns with information, these will all be stripped out of the final KML or KMZ files that you're created. So always keep a backup of your original data if you want to use this software. So that is basically it for today. If you have any questions, I will post the links to my GitLab page there, and you can ask the questions either on YouTube or if you have any bugs, you can do a bug report. I will be happy to look at and try to fix these. If you do find that you have a file format which is compatible, this uses Geopackage, which uses Fiona for reading files, which uses Jadal for reading files. And so I've tested a few different formats, but if you go into files and you go into import and you go to live dangerously, you're going to be able to look at file formats that I haven't tested. So if you find anything that works fine, then just send me an email and I would be happy to start adding these to the software. So on this, have a very nice evening. Thank you very much.